Charles Soule and Marco Castiello send Luke down his Jedi path as the young hero searches the galaxy for anything left over from the Jedi Order to help him in his training, but as Luke finds, the Empire may have wiped them from the face of the galaxy for good. Charles Soule returns to the Jedi training story arc in the wake of War of the Bounty Hunters, sending Luke out to prepare him for his next confrontation with Darth Vader, which will be happening in Return of the Jedi. Soule does an excellent job capturing the conflicted nature of Luke. He's still very much unsure of himself and if he can be a Jedi, and he has trouble letting go and trusting in the Force, especially in the aftermath of his last battle with the Dark Lord where he couldn't contact Ben or use the Force properly. These are the real types of stories that Soule excels at, and it's a really simple adventure story steeped in some great Star Wars lore and character development, a lot of which Soule had a hand in creating through his previous runs in the books, so I'm looking forward to him having Luke learn some new things and become the Jedi we see in Return of the Jedi. Marco Castiello steps in as artist with some really detailed artwork this issue. I enjoyed how he depicted Luke here, which is I think the most Jedi look we've seen him have in a long time, with his robe that really reminded me of Kenobi's robe from Tatooine. His view of the Force near the end of the issue where we got to see a great physical visualization of the power was great, and it's something we seldom see, so when it happens it's quite kind of magical and quite otherworldly, and I love it. Star Wars issue 19 was a great Luke focused issue that is filled with many fun locations and great moments for Luke's character to grow and overcome his personal conflicts to become the Jedi we see in Return of the Jedi. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. Star Wars issue 19 heads to the Rebel fleet, where the Rebels meet to discuss bringing in the remaining fleet divisions still separated from them since the attack of Hoth, and the assault by Commander Zara. Akbar tells the gathered Rebels that they first need to establish a supply chain, and luckily Captain Holdo has made some deals with crime families, but the Syndicate war that has broken out is interfering with her efforts. Leia knows that Luke seems distracted, so Luke explains that R2 gave him a list of possible Jedi sites from across the galaxy from an old Imperial archive they found. He knows that he is needed at the fleet, but he needs to leave and follow his path to grow as a Jedi, since he will need to face Darth Vader again, and he needs to be ready. Leia understands since the last time he felt this strongly, it led him to his new lightsaber, and just seeing it in his hand inspired the entire alliance. She tells him to trust in the Force and they can deal with these battles without him for now. Luke thanks her, taking his leave to go find R2, searching through the list he found, crossing out Jedha and Tempest, given that those are places he has been to before. He knows if the Imperials had this list, it's hard to think that any of these places would still be left intact. He finds himself exhausted knowing that Vader almost killed him on Jakara, knowing that the villain could sense his fear, which is why he never was worried about the Jedi. He wishes Master Yoda would talk to him as he decides to get on with the list, starting with Ilum. Luke heads to the hollowed out ice planet, finding the Empire has stripped much of it away. Landing, he senses the place was important, but only senses pain now, finding that the Empire is killing it more every day. Luke decides to leave, wanting to use the weather to help them get past the blockades again. He then heads to Arashar, finding that the Empire's fleet blocking their way in, so he diverts to Lothal, sensing something on the planet needs to be opened like the outpost on Tempest, but it's not responding to his force power. He thinks it might have been buried or locked away and he doesn't have the key. He feels that he has learned a lot, but he still doesn't know anything. Later, the duo head to the moon of Alodine and to Mount Pasval, spotting some Imperial forces, but it's not too heavily guarded, so maybe they can finally make this plan work, as long as they are smart about it, that is. Luke takes his fighter down to the ruins of Ambalar, spotting a collapsed dam that submerged the city, but luckily it looks like some of the people have rebuilt some of the city. He lands knowing that there is an Imperial presence in town, so they'll need to try not to draw attention. Luke explores the city, telling R2 to stay with the ship since he's going to try something that Yoda taught him and that he saw Kenobi use. He tells the droid to be ready to make a quick getaway as Luke approaches some stormtroopers, trying to use the Jedi mind trick on them to find out what the Empire is doing on the mountain and in the river. The troopers tell him to move along, so the defeated Luke returns to R2 to find another way. As they walk through the markets, R2 stops seeing something in a mechanic's shop as the owner says that he's surprised he doesn't know what the panel R2 found is. He reveals that it's a piece of hull from a Jedi starfighter used during the Clone Wars. The man invites Luke inside since, like him, someone may have noticed the lightsaber hanging off the Jedi's belt. Going inside, Luke reveals to the man that he's trying to become a Jedi, learning from the mechanic that he once knew a Jedi named Kirak in Filler, and he says the Jedi saved his life as the young mechanic remembers watching the Jedi levitate tools. The man says that Kirak paid his father to store his fighter there while he was at the monastery at the top of the mountain. The Jedi, however, sent understands something was wrong, warning the family of something and telling them to continue the work on the ship as the Jedi confronts the arriving Darth Vader. The man remembers the Jedi failed and the dam above them broke, so him and his sister was forced to cram themselves into the Jedi starfighter and take off, leaving their parents behind to die in the flood that washed away the city. The man wants to know Luke's story, but R2 wonders if they'll turn him into the Empire, but the man, who understands binary, says he won't be doing that since a Jedi once saved his life, and with the way the galaxy is now, he can't imagine Luke would claim to be one if he wasn't. Wanting to repay the debt the Jedi left him with, and helping Luke is as close as he's going to get. The man introduces himself as Collie as Luke tells him that the Jedi are gone, but their legacy might still exist and he needs to learn as much as he can, thinking the mountain that the Jedi came from was connected to the Jedi Order. Collie says he would have told the boy everything he knew without the history lesson, taking him up the mountain and showing him a warehouse, as the man explains that the whole mountain is hollow, filled with passages and chambers that the Empire have been exploring for decades, bringing things out and moving artifacts off planet, but not before they are stored in the on-site warehouse. Collie knows that Luke will find what he is looking for there, but he'll be breaking in alone since while the Jedi saved his life, he's not going to throw it away for another one. Luke understands, left by Collie to devise a plan, settling on a direct approach. Luke taps into the Force, letting it flow through him as he ignites his saber, knowing that he could attack the base and they would not be able to stop him, and he would be able to cut through them all with ease. He soon stops himself, tossing the saber to R2 to look after as he meditates, finding a deeper connection to the Force before leaving for the warehouse's door, successfully using a Jedi mind trick on the guards, getting one trooper to bring him the most important artifact they have stored there. The trooper brings him a holocron, and later back at the X-Wing, Luke tells R2 what the device is and how it records important information Jedi want to preserve. He reaches out with the Force, touching the device, and shocked to find that the holocron once belonged to Yoda, whose holocron form says that it has many things to teach Luke.